Welcome back to another viewer team showcase. For this team, we have a very unique challenge one from Glenn Ruger 9248. And I'm wondering how this viewer got some of these mons if they played vanilla Pokemon Red. I'm guessing there had to be some sort of PK hexing going on. Either that or they traded them over. Regardless, this team is definitely going to be a lot of fun to showcase because it's hard to see what these mons are going to do well against. As I go through each team member, you guys should be able to figure out a theme going on here. It will make sense very soon. But with that, let's hop into it. Also, Yellow Legacy, Wednesdays 1 PM to 4 PM PST. Episodes will be up on Miss Magus. Link will be in the description below. Cool. The first mon on this team is Eckans, and it's on Route 4 right before going into Cerulean City exiting Mount Moon. This is indeed going to be a challenge run, because Arbok is just not great in general, and in a gen where poison is pretty lackluster, it's easy to see why. I can't even really see any moments where Arbok could remotely do well unless you were spamming Wrap and landed a Toxic or something. This Cobra has no good stab whatsoever, and the only good coverage it gets is Earthquake and Rock Slide. Earthquake is obviously the best, but it can't be obtained as a TM until Silphco. But, surprisingly, I could see it helping against someone like Agatha or even Bruno's Onyx. There are other times, but I don't feel like listing them all. Arbok's little bit of coverage is probably going to be what helps the rest of this team get through certain messes. I can already see it. Up next is Victreebel. If Glenn did get these mons through regular means, my guess is they played the game in the beginning with just their starter and ditched it once they hit the point where they were able to get Eckans first, and then shortly after, the next Pokemon being Bellsprout. But even then, Bellsprout is version exclusive to Pokemon Blue, so regardless, they would have to trade it or gen it in. Let's just assume they traded it over from Blue and the real team starts in Cerulean. Weepinbell is going to be the best option for taking on Misty given its grass typing. Vine Whip is going to be its best attacking option until level 38 where it learns Razor Leaf, or is given the Giga Drain TM after defeating Erica. Then, obviously later in Celadon City, the Leaf Stone can be used to evolve it into Victreebel. I can see the Victreebel being the most useful with Razor Leaf, due to Generation 1's crit mechanics. Due to this, I'm gonna assume it's probably one of the team's MVPs. Right after defeating Misty, the next Pokemon becomes possible to catch, being Meowth, and it can't evolve. Are you guys starting to see the pattern yet? You better prepare for trouble and make it double. Meowth's main gimmick is obviously going to be to try to get as many crits as possible. The problem is it doesn't get Slash until level 44, so that is going to be a tad difficult to do until then. Due to Meowth not being able to evolve into Persian, I can see this mon being the most challenging to use. Just bring it in and hope to God it can crit something. And if it does, you better hope it can get the job done fast, because Meowth is extremely frail. I'm not sure how good Fury Swipes could be if it got multiple crits, but that looks like the best thing it can do until it learns Slash. Other than that, I'm not sure how good Meowth will be if it does land crits and such. It's hard to say because I've always evolved my Meowths into Persian. The second to last Pokemon is Lickitung, and it's rocking a fantastic base 60 special and 55 attack. You can get a Lickitung on Route 18 by trading an NPC a Slowbro. So you have to capture a Slowpoke, evolve it, and then trade for it. So it's a little tedious to get a pretty mediocre Pokemon. That is what makes this run a challenge though. So I say, bring it on. I wish Lickitung could be like it was in the anime, knocking out mons in a single lick, but that doesn't work. Surprisingly though, I don't think Lickitung is the worst mon on this team, mainly because it does get coverage options like Fire Blast, Thunder, and Blizzard, so I can see it coming in clutch in certain pinches. The variety Lickitung can provide gives it that slight edge over Meowth. Not sure if I would consider it better than Arbok though. Arbok hits harder despite not having good stab options. But I would say Lickitung is a very situational mon, and who knows, maybe it knocked out Lance's team if Blizzard was used. It's a filler normal type, so it can be used practically anywhere. I can see it being the most useful against Sabrina, but even then, that doesn't say a lot given those phenomenal stats. Considering this is a Kanto Team Rocket, Jesse, and James challenge, the last Pokemon of this run should be pretty obvious. Weezing. Not gonna lie, Weezing is probably the best Pokemon on the team here. Unfortunately, Coughing can't be found until the Pokemon Mansion on Cinnabar Island. It also doesn't help that its poison typing isn't really useful. But it's got a great move pool and good defensive stats to help keep it alive in those pinches I know this team will get into. I am happy it's Weezing in Gen 1, because its special is 85 versus its base 70 special defense in later gens. Having Fire Blast and Thunderbolt with 85 special is better than anything Lickitung can use. So honestly, I would save those TMs for Weezing. It's hard to say where Weezing would come in handy the most, because its coverage allows it to be decent against most of the trainers. It's just scary going up against someone like Sabrina or other Psychic type mons, because if you look at the team, over half of Team Rocket's members are weak to Psychic types. One last thing before we wrap up this team is how hard would this team be to use in Fire Red and Leaf Green or Pokemon Let's Go? Well, one of the main differences already is Gen 1 crit mechanics won't exist, so Victreebel and Meowth won't be able to abuse that. I would say due to this, Meowth will be harder to use. The special stat also being split will make Victreebel more frail to special attacks. This will impact Victreebel a bit, but I don't think the change will be as impactful as Meowth. Arbok and Weezing really don't change all that much. The main differences for Arbok is 1, it gets Bite, with Generation 3 being special. In Let's Go, it gets Physical Crunch, giving it a little bit more coverage. Lickitung doesn't change at all. It's still terrible no matter what game you play, but it does get 75 base special defense. Overall, the team can be used in the other two iterations of Kanto, but Meowth is gonna be a bit more challenging in my opinion. The rest of the mons though should be fine. Bottom line, this team can definitely beat Red and Blue, because there have been much harder challenge videos done by other YouTubers. Where I see this team struggling is against Koga, Sabrina, bits of Lorelei, Agatha, and some of Blue's team. There are probably others I'm missing, but you get the point. These mons are average speed-wise, with the best being Meowth at base 90. It makes me wonder how useful Victreebel and Meowth would have been given the crit mechanics in Gen 1 with Razor Leaf and Slash respectively. Surge is resisted by the Victreebel line, Erica probably wasn't an issue, Blaine probably wasn't too bad, and Giovanni probably got owned. Those are the important ones I see not being too much of a problem. I mentioned Sabrina and Koga being troublesome earlier, but now when I take a look at Lance and Blue, I see them being pretty threatening. Hopefully Lickitung hit off Blizzards when it mattered against Lance. And against Blue? Well, yeah, good luck. I am curious though how this challenge run went for Glenn, so if you're in the comments, please let us know. I need to try this for myself as a matter of fact. I do enjoy the occasional challenge runs, especially with using an unevolved mon like Meowth.